Okay, so what if I told you that you could build a powerful, custom AI assistant for your team, like today? A tool that actually understands your company's documents and can automate real tasks?
And no, I'm not talking about some far-off future promise. This is a real thing you can do right now. We're talking about creating an AI that's totally tailored to the unique way your team gets things done.
But here's the absolute best part. This is the real game changer. You can do all of this without writing a single line of code. Yep, that means this incredible technology is suddenly open to pretty much everyone.
So you're probably wondering, how is this even possible? Well, the tool that makes all this happen is called Microsoft Copilot Studio. Think of it as the key to unlocking your very own no-code AI agent. It's the platform that takes you from just using tech to actually creating it.
So what is it exactly? Well, you can think of Copilot Studio as a sort of visual workshop. It's a low-code, graphical builder that lets you piece together AI agents using really simple interfaces. And the most important part? It's designed for regular business users, not just hardcore developers. Yeah, this slide really sums up its core power. First off, you can create these agents just using plain, everyday language. You can then hook them up directly to your company's own documents and knowledge base. And when you're done, you can publish them right into the tools your team is already in all day, like Teams and SharePoint.
Okay, so how do you actually build one of these things? You might be thinking it's going to be super complex, right? Well, forget that. We can break this whole process down into a really simple, memorable, 3-step blueprint. Seriously, anyone can follow this.
And here it is. This is the entire journey laid out in 3 logical steps. First, you define its purpose. Then, you teach it by connecting it to your knowledge. And finally, you automate the tasks you want it to do. Define, teach, automate. That's literally it.
All right, let's dive into step 1, define. Now, this isn't about writing a bunch of technical specs or anything like that. It's just describing what you want your AI assistant to do in plain English.
So, for example, here's a perfect, really concrete description for a super common business need. Something like HR leave assistant, answer employee leave policy questions and start leave requests. See, it's clear, it's concise, and it gives the AI its core mission right from the get-go.
And hey, here's a great pro tip that can make a huge difference in your agent's performance. Be just as clear about what it should not do. Adding a simple boundary like do not provide legal advice creates these really important guardrails and keeps it focused on its job.
Okay, so once you've defined its purpose, it's time for step 2, teach. Because let's face it, an AI assistant is only as good as the info it can get its hands on. So this step is all about giving it a brain.
And this is where the magic really happens. You can connect it directly to the knowledge sources you already have and trust. I'm talking about uploading specific policy PDFs, pointing it to entire SharePoint sites, or giving it access to OneDrive folders. Basically, your company's documentation becomes its personal textbook.
All right, and that brings us to our final step in the build process. Step 3, automate. This is where you actually design the conversation and tell the agent how it's going to help people.
The whole thing is built on 2 really simple ideas, intents and actions. An intent is just, what does the user want? Are they asking a question? An action is what the agent does next. Maybe it gives an answer, maybe it sends an email, or kicks off some other process. Simple as that.
Now this part is absolutely crucial. Before you unleash your new assistant on your team, you have got to test it. Copilot Studio has a built-in simulator that lets you ask it real-world questions, see how it answers, and then you can go in and fine-tune its logic and accuracy. Do not skip this step. Okay, so we've covered how to build it. But hold on, there is one more critical piece of the puzzle before you go live. Because with all this creative power comes a lot of responsibility, right? We have to talk about safety and how to protect your data and your users.
It's the big question that should be on your mind anytime you're connecting an AI to sensitive company info. Is this thing actually secure?
And that is a totally valid concern. Security researchers have pointed out a few potential risks. Things like co-phishing attacks, where a bad actor tries to trick your agent into giving up sensitive info. There's also the risk of someone stealing security tokens that could give them access to other apps. So you definitely need to be aware of these things.
The good news is there are clear, actionable steps you can take. First, always limit the permissions you give an agent to only what it absolutely needs to do its job. No more, no less. Second, always enable multi-factor authentication. And finally, keep an eye on things.
Regularly monitor access to make sure everything is running the way it's supposed to.
All right, with that critical safety stuff covered, let's get back to the fun part. This is where we go from just understanding the blueprint to actually dreaming up what you can build with this. I mean, the possibilities here are huge, and you can get a first draft of one of these up and running in just minutes. Think about that HR assistant we talked about. Or what about a sales briefing agent that automatically pulls all the recent notes from your CRM? You could even build a code review agent to help your developers summarize the impact of new changes. How cool is that?
Let's just stick with that sales example for a second. Imagine an agent that automatically pulls customer notes and drafts a meeting summary for you before every single call. Just think about the hours of boring prep work that could save a sales team every single week. That's the kind of real-world power we're talking about here.
So you see, what we've just walked through, it's more than just a new tool. It's a whole new way of working. It puts the power of custom AI automation directly into your hands. No coding skills required. So that really just leaves one final, very exciting question for you. What are you going to automate first?